I'm Shanta, who's been talking to you all about play. In my third module of play, I shall talk difference between activities and play. In this module, you shall understand how play activities have been introduced to children. In the previous modules, we understood about play and types of play. Let's understand the association between play and an activity in this module. Play is a spontaneous act of a child, either due to physical energy of the body, especially due to muscular energy to be expended. The child's play facilitates the child's physical, motor, cognitive, socio-emotional and language development. The four areas should not be looked at separately when a child is at work. Play is work to a child. Dr. Montessori maintains that play satisfies only a part of one's nature, but that work goes deeper into the beginnings and brings satisfaction to one's whole being. The child perfects work as it satisfies the subconscious longing of his nature to grow and develop into a harmonious personality. This tells us the importance of play, from where the adults have drawn insight into converting play to an activity. This is teaching through play. As the adult world has learnt signs of play, play is converted into an activity. An activity has a specific goal to be attained in its path. Example, an adult could introduce an object to a child to explore. Here, the child's mind goes through the stimulation which is helpful in comprehending the set goal, which is useful for learning later. How will you introduce an activity? An activity is introduced by an adult who is in the child's environment. The simplest form of the activity is introduced. The child's attention is drawn totally before introducing an activity. An activity could be introduced either in a small group or a large group. A small group may consist of more than 2 or 4 children. A large group may consist of 4 to 10 children. Grouping could be done on ability, those who can grasp quickly or those who grasp slowly. Knowledge-based grouping will give the level like a children who are difficult level of solving tasks compared to the beginner's level. The groups allow for individualized instruction since it permits children of like ability or interest to come together and work on a specific task. Presenting an activity. When an adult is introducing an activity, she needs to be aware of the fact that all the other distractions need to be controlled to gather the child's attention first. Materials required to introduce the activity will take the center stage. The assistance which the teacher should give a child in presenting the material to him consists of showing him how to use it. Example, she mixes up spools of colors that are to be matched and then picks up one at a random and shows in a proper way, which is without touching the silk, and places alongside the fabric at the same time. Preventing errors in an activity. If an activity is being conducted in such a manner that it will not attain its goal or that it does not benefit the development of a child's intelligence, she should prevent him from continuing the activity. She needs to do this in the greatest sweetness if a child is calm and good-tempered, but if she shows tendency to misbehave, she will check him then and with earnest words, and not in a way that will mean punishment, but rather an indication of her authority over the child. Example, if a teacher has introduced color matching activity, the child has grasped and has done it in a number of times. Now, the child is fond of throwing the pieces of fabric and spools of color thread, and then the teacher needs to intervene in the most sweet way and tell him that he needs to stop, as assistance of the teacher in such a time means extending strong friendly hand towards one who has lost control. Role of a teacher in an activity. An adult who is introducing an activity has to allow the child to use the activity primarily, but if the child has to be introduced to the next graded activity, the adult has to intervene. Introduce one higher activity and encourage him to discover the newer activity. The activity needs to be simple. The instruction needs to be clear. Demonstrate when you are introducing for the first time. Play activities without winner or loser. Give each opportunity of being a leader or an initiator to promote positive qualities. Praise children for cooperative action and helpfulness. Create environment where cooperation is needed. Encourage children to explore the joy of doing and achieving mastery in their own time. The teacher sometimes has to be an adult who is active, sometimes and passive, to encourage the child to take an active role. Teacher as a specific observer in an activity. The teacher needs to observe a child while he or she is involved in an activity, has to create an observation, document and note the participation, like was involved, completed the activity, active participation found, did not complete the activity, got distracted, which will help the teacher to follow up following day or in his or her next attempt. The activity record will give an adult an insight into child's ability, likes and dislikes. Example, a teacher maintained observation record can tell us the activities that the child has participated, activities that he needs to practice, activity child needs to be provided, etc. Teacher as a facilitator. The observational record is guiding tool to facilitate the teacher the steps that she has to take with the child to each activity to achieve the goal of preschool education, to assess the level of developmental ability of the child and to facilitate development of all domains. Example, if a child is involved in matching size gradation, he or she need not be able to judge the gradation. The adult facilitates by only providing the contrast of two, that is big and small, one that is gained and the middle size to be introduced. The activities based on developmental norms. The child's development can be thought of in different domains. All the domains are closely interrelated and interdependent and interact with each other. Development in each domain can be fostered by giving each child a chance to participate in a wide variety of play-based activities. These activities allow the child to engage actively in the process to learn, practice all master skills at each level, to achieve, test and evaluate and to develop self-confidence and motivation. Example, in a painting activity, children are not only perfecting fine motor skills, they are also learning sharing, social and emotional skill, follow direction, listening or language skill, copy a virtual pattern, visual or sensory skills, visualize the object, cognitive and creative skills. Sand play leads to social, cognitive, sensory and language development. Therefore, one should view each and every activity in terms of its potential to speed up the development of the whole child. In general, the activities for each area should be more from easy to more demanding. Example, small motor learning activities, shelter or stones on diagrams drawn on the floor could be done before children use paper, crayons or pencils. Ideally, 2 or 3 activities from each domain should be presented every week. The activities need not be followed in the same order as given. They can be graded and arranged to suit varying needs. Activity based on the child's ability. It is imperative for parents and teachers or adults working with children to understand the needs of children, their abilities and interest at every age and stage of development by observing their behavior. Let's see a 3-year-old. We know that 3-year-olds are very self-centered at this stage, children largely of themselves and their own needs. They do not yet realize that others are just like them and with thoughts and feelings like their own. They have insufficient muscular control, especially in movement of fingers. They enjoy playing by themselves and do not know how to join a group because they cannot yet cooperate. Above all, they do not like to share toys and may cry if they are taken away. If they are leaving their mothers for the first time, they may cling to the teacher. They like to watch and follow. They are curious, eager to learn, but with limited speed, and they tire easily. 3-year-olds love repetition. Therefore, activities for 3-year-olds should be short, simple and amusing, should be encouraged to use hands and fingers so that children learn muscular control. Circular games where children have to wait for a long time for their turns are advised not to be chosen as they are impatient. They need to move about and use and be active. Team activity which need competition should be avoided. Games with too many actions, too varied, or which require a child to listen and follow instruction carefully are not accepted at this age. A 4-year-old one. Children are much better to control over themselves and their bodies and can use their hands constructively. They have wider vocabulary and can express their ideas, though not always with their precision. They enjoy playing with other children and joining in group activities and games. They love to help and are learning to cooperate but do not understand competition. They are beginning to be disciplined, can wait for their turn and follow instructions. They are excited by newer experiences and eager to explore and engage in newer tasks. They are vigorous and active and bursting with energy and sometimes even aggressive. A 4-year-old still cannot sit alone. Therefore, activities 4-year-old require action and movement, but sometimes they also need activities with quiet tempo. The child still enjoys singing and rhyming games, but now these can be group or team games which each team playing alternatively, though not competing. Now the songs and the rhymes can have direction which require the child to watch, listen and imitate. As a 4-year-old is little more disciplined, activities that are planned turn by turn can be introduced. The child learns good conduct through these activities. A 5-year-old child. At this age, a 5-year-old are more independent. They have good control over their muscles and are capable of many exercises. They are self-resilient, enjoy playing with others, can cooperate and share and sit and wait for their turn. They love to help and can be given duties. They can remember what they are told and can take responsibility in small measures. They can even sit still for a short period and be silent but not for long. This enables them to listen to instructions and follow directions. They are eager to go to school and to learn to read and write. They enjoy being the leader and taking initiative in newer ventures. They can understand the rules and follow them. They can express themselves in their mother tongue. Therefore, activities for 5-year-old need to develop all these positive qualities fully and prepare the child for the next stage of development. Introduce them to group games which require cooperation and sometimes competition. Language games where children have to express themselves in words and listen and follow instructions, and memory games which require them to remember certain rules are favorite at this age. Let the children learn to accept both success and failure. Let all of them take turns being the leader in all group activity so that every child learns both to follow and to lead. Making minor variations in the activities each time will add new challenges. The activity conducted in an Anganwadi may be challenging. The Anganwadi will have one room, minimum of teaching and learning material, multiple age level in a single environment. The demands on the adult working in this kind of an environment is multifolded. The Anganwadi worker needs to plan strategies to manage children in such a way that all children are given stimulation in all domains of development. The activity and the material needed to be prepared by the Anganwadi worker indigenously. Worker needs to plan a schedule in alignment with the short and the long-term goals of early childhood objectives. Each activity has an end to it. Each activity is designed to achieve a particular end, as every activity has developmental significance. Example, let us analyze an activity designed to identify body parts. Developmental significance. Children listen to the speech of others in the environment and copy the pattern that what they hear is their own oral language. A strong relationship between growth of vocabulary and the ability to think and reason. The activity relates to the most basic aspect of labeling process, in which children are asked to name the body parts which are central to understanding themselves. Children are expected to point to face, head, arm, leg or foot whenever asked to do so, to establish meaning for the words which describe the part's body. The suggested activities are: have a rag doll day at school. Also, have enough dolls at school. During the activity 1 and 2, ask children to point out at the parts of the body as it is being said. Ask children to sit on the floor, and the adult need to point out and ask the children which part they want to move. Additional vocabulary of actions of that part to be said as the part is being moved. Use a simple geometric puzzle. Encourage them to put the parts together. This is to show that they have understood different body parts. For close attention details, the face with color on the cheeks, chin or eyes, ears as instructed. The above activity is designed for a 3-year-old. If it has a specific end, that is, child after interaction is able to identify the names of the different parts. Similarly, in Montessori method, when a child is using pink tar, the cubes are placed one on top of the other in order of dimension. If the objective is to move the object or to arrange progressive order, the aim of the preschool material is to move than that it is to stimulate the children of comparison of size of objects. Therefore, the need for using material with precision movement. From the above example, it is clear that activity has a definite goal or end. It is aimed based on the developmental needs of age specific. The child is an active factor in an activity. Dr. Montessori says in her autobiography, the vital aspect of active education is the activity of the child. The duty of the teacher is to direct the spontaneous energies. Froebel's maximizes education in instruction and training, and its first principle should be necessarily to be a passive following, only guiding and providing, and not perspective categorical interfering. Both on observation and educational philosophers, it is very clear that during early childhood education need to be actively oriented and not passive learning. Thus, all play is work is activity for the child, in early childhood education. Preschool education for children in the age of 3 to 6 years needs to be activity oriented. NCF 2005 also emphasizes on activity based curriculum. All programs across the globe today are very clear of the benefits of activity based learning for preschool education. Let me summarize the module. Play is spontaneous to child. When play is harnessed in a meaningful activity with a goal, it becomes meaningful. Play is work. Work is deeper involvement of the child leading to an activity. Activity is first introduced by the adult. The adult steps back and follows the child through observation. The child is encouraged to progress from simple to complex nature in the activity. The activity could be introduced in small or large group. The group may be grouped on different bases, either on ability, age, or nature of the activity itself. Activity need to be age and developmental appropriate. Every activity is a means to a specific goal. Play is superficial work in deeper as the child totally gets involved in work. Teacher has a specific role in activity. The role of a teacher can encourage the child to discover learning. Activity is a means to work, and encouraging the child to learn is the process of an activity. Thanks for listening to this module on Introduction of Activities in Small and Large Groups.